I want to follow up on the question about recruiting against guys like Urban Meyer and all that. You guys have some, kind of a narrative to try and turn around here, do you not? And it does seem that those guys are setting the bar in a completely different place than where it's been. How do you combat that?
Well, for me, I don't know anything about that bar. I mean, not being in college football for a while, I just know when I was in football, it's always about selling your product to someone and convincing them that they want to be a part of this. Others are doing it, but we feel like we can do it too. And we have a great university with everything that a young man is looking for.
I have a hard time picturing you doing things like sleepovers with recruits and all of that, though.
Well, when I say on how we're going to do it, I'm going to do it my way, and feel comfortable with that. But in the end, that maybe gets you. In the end, what people want to see, they want to be able to look in eye and believe in what you're saying, and trusting that what you're saying is exactly how to be. That's what I think I can get across.
During your time in the NFL, did you have any, thoughts on college, or did it seem like appealing to you even in the back of your mind?
I've always considered myself a college coach, and when you say college coach, you consider yourself that I'm a teacher. I like being around young men. The relationship that you develop in football is a big part of the entire experience. So seeing myself being in college someday, yeah, that's why when opportunity came along, here at the University of Illinois, it's not like, I saw it. I've been a basketball coach and I'm getting ready to start coaching football. Football is I see.
Were you surprised when they reached out? Did you see this coming at all?
And no idea.
Job wasn't open.
No, job wasn't thinking it. No, I had no idea. Of course, a call would come, or I was making plans to do other things. This weekend, Mary and I are supposed to be at Brian Urlacher's wedding in California this weekend. Those plans have changed a little bit.
So, nobody need to tell you the connection between the Bears and Illinois. I mean, you mentioned three guys up there. You're well aware of all that stuff. Have you heard from people from the organization? And will you use any of those former players as, recruiting? Have they reached out? Can they help you win here?
Well, first off, we'll use everything legally possible to sell the University of Illinois. It's only so much people on the outside can actually do, but you can do a lot just being out in society. If our university comes up, if there is someone that knows that I'm recruiting, or a family that knows me, there's information you can get. And as far as someone from the Bear, I got in yesterday. I've talked to my family very little. It's been nonstop, pretty much since I got off the plane. In time, we'll be able to do all that. But yeah, I didn't have to go out and buy a tie. The colors I have, my wardrobe is set up. Thankfully, George Hallis had a plan that, University of Illinois and, of course, Chicago Bear having the same color.
What are you going to be doing this weekend instead?
I'm sorry?
What are you going to be doing this weekend if you're not going to Brian Urlacher?
What? See, that's long-term thinking. And for me, what I'm doing is after I leave here, eventually I'm going to get back on the phone, getting my staff together is a priority number one. And what am I going to do? It's just nonstop, 24/7, Illini football. That's what I'll be doing.
How quickly do you think you can put a full staff together?
Don't know.
Weird time of year.
That's why, the question was asked, how soon will you win? What's your record? We're just going to, try to put positive days together. Don't know exactly how long. We have a deadline, though, with spring ball. So at the very latest, we will be starting spring ball at the start of April.
Do you feel like you've got to have pretty much a full staff together by then?
We'll have enough people together in order. Our spring ball won't stop based on the staff. There's been good response from coaches. We'll be able to get a staff in place.
I know you didn't spend too long at Ohio State, but when you were there, Illinois owned Ohio State during those years, so it can be done. What's the key to owning Ohio State?
Well, back then at Ohio State, it was tough on Illinois because we had Eddie George over there. I don't know if there's a whole lot of Eddie Georges around still. As I said, on how we're going to bring Illinois football back, we have to, it's pretty simple. We have to do a good job of recruiting our state, starting off with that. And when I say recruiting the state, Yes, got to make an impact in Chicago. From there, with TV now, guys go away a little bit. I think people in places I've been trust me in what I say, and I think they'll trust me influencing their young men. For 4 years, I really believe that.
How much contact did you have with high school coaches when you were with the Bears?
I had some, not an awful lot, but I had a son that went through the system, public, school. I have a Lake Forest graduate, you know, so I watched college or high school football throughout, and when you're in the state, you follow your professional football team in the state. So I think most of them know who I am, and I think they feel pretty good about once we get our program in place and what it'll look like.
Lovie, first, the 2017 cycle kind of already started. How do you kind of ensure like a smooth transition into that and reach out to some of the players that have already been offered? And the other thing is, what other places do you kind of have contacts that you can tap into?
We're going to look at our staff, and that'll tell us a little bit more. And if there's a coach that has a contact with something, we'll do it. And as far as the 2017 recruiting cycle starting, I feel like today we're getting a message out to most of the recruits. Everybody's talking about Illinois football, and as soon as I can get on the phone and start making calls, I will. And the first calls will go to the best players in the state of Illinois, and we'll start working out from there.
Lovie, how much this was the Illinois was a unique situation in that you had ties in the state. The Chicago market's important, where you're well known. Your wife is from the state. I mean, you look at it from the outside, and maybe would it a bottom level conference team or a team that's struggling in a different conference might not have appealed to you. Did Illinois have unique circumstances that did?
Yeah, it did. I mean, I had in Tampa, I had a contract for 2 more years. I didn't have to do this. This is something I wanted to do. And there's a couple places. I'm from Texas. I pay attention to what's been going on in college football in Texas, of course in Florida. But we've lived in the state of Illinois as long as any place. And it is special, to me. We have a lot of relatives here. Again, my kids went to school here. And I feel like my state university was calling.
Lovie, your son Matthew was here. Your other 2 sons, were they on your staff at Tampa Bay?
Yeah, one was, and one was a quality control coach there, yes.
And would they be candidates to join you here?
Everybody's a candidate right now. They were down there, but, times kind of change a little bit. It's not a given that everybody I had on staff down there, will be with me up here.
Lovie, you were always regarded as a player's coach in Chicago and then in Tampa Bay. Is there any difference in building relationships with college athletes as opposed to grown men in the NFL?
No. I think when you build relationships, it's the same no matter who you're dealing with. You want people to believe what you're saying and to trust you. And it takes a while to develop trust. But what I found is people really pay attention. And nowadays, too, with social media. I had a meeting early this morning. I say one of the first things our players did start calling people, hey, how about Lovie? Do you trust him? Can we? What is this like? But I don't think there's a big difference when we deal with people that's dealing with people.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats.
All right.